Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel, and today you are listening to another Grow Your Future short video. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about growth mindset. What is growth mindset? So, basically, growth mindset is the ability to, when you are thinking about how you encounter challenges, how you learn, how you basically navigate that life. It's having a positive mindset instead of a fixed mindset. So, growth mindset focuses on learning and improvement instead of focusing on the negative aspects and the setbacks. It views challenges as opportunities and it embraces the efforts as part of success. So instead of just focusing on end result, it focuses on the success of the efforts that you've done up until that point. What that looks like in reality, because it can be a little bit confusing to get your head around, is there's a comparison on the slide of the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And hopefully that will kind of give you a bit more of a clearer idea of what we're talking about. So if you've got a really fixed mindset, you will probably avoid challenges and give up easily. Whereas if you can train your brain to have a more of a positive growth mindset, you learn to embrace those challenges and persist in those setbacks. So it's very natural and normal for us to avoid things that we don't like to do, when actually all the great learning and development that we can do is through embracing those challenges. Equally, it's very easy to give up when you've maybe not been successful at something the first time. When actually persisting in those setbacks is where you get that really, really good development, and often is where you end up achieving the best success. So you can probably start to see how this is relevant to career planning, in that like when we are applying for jobs and we get setbacks, it's very easy for us to not continue, to give up, when actually it's about how we overcome those setbacks and how we learn from the mistakes that we might have made or the experiences that we've had, and continue to develop and to grow. So an example at the bottom of the slide there is I'm not good at this would be a very fixed mindset to have. Whereas a growth mindset would say I can improve with practice. And growth mindset is very similar to that. It's a thing that you can develop, and the more you practice it, the better you will get at it. So, how is this relevant to career planning? So, the way that we would approach career planning with a growth mindset is that you would embrace uncertainty. So we all know that career paths are not linear, and we often have to go in lots of different directions to achieve what we want. And there might be bumps along the way in terms of not getting a job that you really wanted to get at an interview, or not being shortlisted after putting in numerous applications. What a growth mindset would encourage is kind of embracing that uncertainty, and sometimes trusting that with one door that closes, another door will hopefully open, if you reflect on your experience, and try and learn from the things that you maybe didn't do as well as you wanted to. It's also really useful when you're learning new skills. So the more that you continue to learn, is better for that rapidly evolving job market. So as the world changes around us, so does the job market. And having a growth mindset and always being willing to learn new skills is actually hugely beneficial to that. It's also really helpful when, as I mentioned earlier, you're handling setbacks and rejections. So instead of seeing those setbacks as that company doesn't want me, I'm not good enough, I've not got enough skills, it's actually taking that moment to reflect and think, okay, where are my gaps in learning? What skills do I need to develop that they were looking for? And how can I do that? And it's through that process that hopefully you'll continue to develop. So a couple more things in terms of the relevance of growth mindset to career planning. Students with a growth mindset are more likely to seek mentors. They're more likely to develop a professional network and explore unfamiliar fields. So having a growth mindset is like we said before, is embracing challenges and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And part of that is taking the initiative. And through that, you'll hopefully reap some really great benefits. It also is good for that long-term development and encouraging you to think about the longer term goals and not just that short-term achievement. So earlier, as we said, that it's that effort that you put into something versus the success at the end. So some top tips for building on your growth mindset or building your growth mindset going forward. If you have got a very fixed mindset, the very first thing that you can start to do is try and change that dialogue in your mind. So if you're often saying things like, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I've not got the skills, it's about changing the way that you say that in your mind and saying, actually, I can't do that yet, but I do want to be able to do that in the future. And how am I going to achieve that? Embrace those challenges and celebrate the effort and not just the results. As we said earlier, it's about learning from feedback. So if your tutors are giving you feedback on something, it's reflecting on that feedback, taking that into consideration as you go forward. And thinking about failure as well. A huge part of growth mindset is thinking about how you utilize failure. Many successful people often started with failure, and it's how they dealt with that failure and not how it didn't let them hold them back in any way that is often the real testament to their success in the future, because it's how they dealt with that and moved forward. So I hope that's been helpful for you to have a little bit of a think about how your own mindset might be affecting your success. So I would encourage you to spend some time thinking about, how do you generally view your career planning? Are you often saying to yourself, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough for this job? And try and rewire your brain, to think about it a little bit differently and practice that over time, and hopefully you will start to see the benefits of taking that new approach. If you're a little bit confused about growth mindset, or you want to learn a little bit more about how you can benefit from it, as always, do get in touch with the careers team and Grow Your Future. All the usual ways to get in touch are on the slide there. And yeah, hope to speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye.